Hello and welcome to SEO is Not That Hard. I'm your host, Ed Dawson, the founder of keywordspeopleuse.com, the place to find and organise the questions people ask online. I'm an SEO, developer, affiliate marketer and entrepreneur. I've been building and monetising websites for over 20 years and I've bought and sold a few along the way. I'm here to share with you the SEO knowledge, hints and tips I've built up over the years. Hello, welcome back to SEO is Not That Hard. It's me here, Ed Dawson, as usual. And today I'm going to talk about, how my case study has changed. Regular listeners, you'll know that I used to own the website broadband.co.uk and I founded that many years ago back in 2004 and owned it all the way up till August 2021. So just over 3 years ago is when we sold that. And we sold it to one of our competitors, GD Ventures, who owned the other broadband comparison website in the UK called broadbandgenie.co.uk, another well-known broadband comparison site. If you're based in the UK, you probably would have seen it. If you'd searched for broadband over the years, it was one of our competitors. And it was a very friendly takeover. They approached us, made us an offer, and, we accepted. We decided, good offer, we'll take that. And, we've got plenty of other things we're doing. And it was just a chance to take some money off the table, especially after doing it for so many years, with any project after a while, especially, I think, 2004 to, so that's best part of 17, 18 years. Yeah, it was time for a change. And it was great because I could use it as a case study, obviously, because it become such a big site and had become so well known as being associated with it. It was one where I couldn't but admit that it was my site because, quite rightly, I understand why people don't necessarily publicize their sites, especially in the affiliate and content sort of display ad type monetized sites, because in some cases the barrier to entry can be low, and because if they monetize well, and broadband.co.uk did monetize very well, then there's obviously the scope for people to try and compete with you. So you don't want to create your own competition by necessarily talking about what your sites are, which can be a problem if you're trying to demonstrate to anybody that you actually know what you're talking about, if you can't talk about exact case studies. But I do understand why people don't mention them. But for me, it was great because I could say, hey, go and look at broadband.co.uk. There's an example of a site that I basically can lay claim to how it looks, to the structure, to the content, to pretty much everything there. I had a very, very, very big hand in all of it. The strategy, the structure, all that was down to me. So I can say, go there. This is an example of a site that works, monetizes well, has got great traction and great longevity. And I'm sure many of you who listen to podcasts have definitely probably gone there and looked at it. I know that many people I've spoken to have been listeners, have been and looked at the site and used it as a case study, an example of how to set up a site to perform well. Now, ever since we sold, I've kept an eye on the site. I have no involvement with any more. No financial involvement, no involvement with the people who are running it. I've helped them out occasionally over the past 3 years when they might have hit a small technical problem or something that a bit of knowledge had been lost in the transfer. That's only happened like 2 or 3 times. I've always been happy to help them. They were very minor things, most sort of technical back end things. So, but I've kept an eye on the website. I still keep an eye on the broadband rankings and see how it's performing. Only at a very top level. I'm not done any in-depth. I don't monitor it on Ahrefs or anything like that. Just to see how it's ranking in a few keywords that I always used to keep an eye on for the past 20 years. And you can't help but keep looking at them. Because it's also, I've used it is Google fluxing the search results. And I keep an eye on those rankings. I've known that it's ranked well on for years. Anyway, a couple of weeks ago, I just had a look and I just noticed that the page titles had changed to say Broadband Genie. So I thought, that's strange. And I clicked on the link and they've changed it. It's changed quite a bit. So essentially what they've done is they've decided, instead of running broadbandgenie.co.uk and broadband.co.uk as 2 separate sister sites as such, they've decided to sort of mash them together, really. They haven't done a simple redirect one site completely to the other. What they've done is they've redirected broadbandgenie.co.uk to broadband.co.uk. So if you went to broadbandgenie.co.uk now, it would redirect to broadband.co.uk URLs. So the domain, they've kept the broadband.co.uk domain. I can understand that. It's very brandable. It's a premium domain, and it has got a fantastic link profile, all natural link profile as well. Obviously, since the problems that we had with Penguin back in the day, and we went all natural links, all organic. I don't blame them for keeping on the one domain. But they've changed the branding of the website to be the Broadband Genie brand. So if you go on there now, it will say Broadband Genie. It'll have their genie character. Their sort of hero character is a genie with a piggy bank. Which is, it's a nice branding. I don't get you wrong, I can kind of see what they've done, but it's a nice brand. But they've now got the Broadband Genie brand on the broadband.co.uk domain. And when it comes to the content, they've changed some content to be the Broadband Genie content. That content was on the Broadband Genie domain. Other parts of the site, they've kept the content that was on broadband.co.uk, but have just rebranded it, so it's more in their blue brand. The broadband.co.uk brand, when I had it, was more of a white and green type colour scheme and branding. They've changed it to match their Broadband Genie branding. And some pages they've 301'd to new URLs on the existing domains. So for example, the Broadband Beginner's Guide, which was a guide that I wrote many, many years ago. I've spoken about it a few times on the podcast, but that guide's been ranking for over 20 years, basically, very, very highly. They've 301 that to a new URL, and they've rewritten the content. And at this point, that is still ranking number one for the term Broadband Beginner's Guide, so there's been no problem with that. But it's quite a convoluted migration to undertake, because normally migrations tend to be from sort of one platform to another. You kind of usually keep the same domain name and as much of the URL structure together as you can. This one, where they've kind of merged two domains onto one domain and kept some parts of the content and moved other parts of the content around onto different URLs. And it's really complicated. So, I mean, it's not to say it's going to be bad for them. I don't know. I wouldn't necessarily have done it myself, but they've got their own SEOs. They've got they're hugely experienced people themselves. They're not amateurs here by any stretch of the imagination. So that they maybe know something that I don't, or they've made some decisions, and this is what they've decided to do. I do feel very sorry for them in the fact that I think literally probably a week after they did this that Google rolled out a core update. So they've got a situation where they've done a migration, and a migration in itself will cause flux. You will see your rankings bounce up and down while Google is getting its head around what's changed and where it needs to put you now. And you're hoping for a reasonably quiet time, SERP volatility wise in general while you're doing that. So they couldn't really have done it much worse time, but they weren't to know. They had no idea that a core update was going to come a week later. It's just a risky take. So at the moment, their rankings are fluctuating quite a lot around areas, and it's almost impossible to tell if that's core update related or whether that is related to the changes they've made. So it's going to be a real nightmare for them to work out what's going on. I'm sure they'll have some wins and some losses possibly. But that's not good timing for them. But hey, what could they do about it? So in terms of it being a case study I can easily point people at now, then it's different now, because the rankings that it will now get, I can't completely take the credit for that, because they've made some of these big changes. However, I can still point people at archive.org, because archive.org has got broadband.co.uk covered really, really well. It was a big site, and archive.org has covered it really, really well. There's lots of saved versions of all the pages there, and it renders them quite nicely. So you can still go and look at how I set sites up, how I set broadband.co.uk up for success by going and seeing the version that is on archive.org. And so if I think I've got any specific examples in the future where I want to sort of show people what I had done, then that's where I need to point them. I mean, I'll still use broadband.co.uk as a case study because, the track record is still there. The site still worked well. It worked well enough that someone wanted to purchase it from us. And so, that's still something for me to be proud of. there's a slight bit of me that thinks it's a shame that some of the content that I wrote is no longer live on the site. But, that's for the new owners. That's their prerogative. And, no content lasts forever. All content needs updating at some point. And I think they've decided to redo it in their style. And that's their prerogative. They own it now. They've had it long enough. I can't get too upset about that. That's all good. Anyway, so I just thought I'd, do an episode updating people on how that has changed. So until next time, I'll see you later. Before I go, I just wanted to let you know that if you'd like a personal demo of our tools that keywords people use, that you can book a free, no obligation, one-on-one video call with me, where I show you how we can help you level up your content by finding and answering the questions your audience actually have. You can also ask me any SEO questions you have. You just need to go to keywordspeopleuse.com/demo, where you can pick a time and date that suits you for us to catch up. Once again, that's keywordspeopleuse.com/demo, and you can also find that link in the show notes of today's episode. Hope to chat with you soon. Thanks for being a listener. I really appreciate it. Please subscribe and share. It really helps. SEO is not that hard. It's brought to you by keywordspeopleuse.com, the place to find and organise the questions people ask online. See why thousands of people use us every day. Try it today for free at keywordspeopleuse.com. To get an instant hit of more SEO tips, then find the link to download a free copy of my 101 quick SEO tips in the show notes of today's episode. If you want to get in touch, have any questions, I'd love to hear from you. I'm at Channel 5 on Twitter. You can email me at podcast@keywordspeopleuse.com. Bye for now, and see you in the next episode of SEO is Not That Hard.